Hi everyone, Kate Bora and Fiona Pearman joining you for this week's Facebook Live, where we're continuing to talk about the myths of confidence. And today we want to talk about myth number 3, that you need to be 100% confident before you take action.
Yeah, I think this one often plays out for people. We've got an idea in our head, we've got an assumption that we need to have absolute certainty, we need to know all of the facts, we need to be totally prepared and have all assurance that we are ready and 100% confident before we're willing to take any sort of action. And that can feel quite a burden. That can feel quite hard that I can't do anything until I've got all this inside me. And so we really want to bust this myth because it's holding a lot of people back.
Yeah, I think, and this was true for me as well, I think we have these rules or these formulas of this needs to be in place, this needs to be in place, this needs to be in place. And the barometer or the benchmark for action is this feeling of confidence. I often say that we're using the confidence as the go signal, and self-doubt is the stop signal. Now, the problem is stacking up all of those things, all of those rules or conditions that need to be present in order to feel confident means that that's a lot, right? That's a lot of things that need to be in place so that we have this feeling, we have this certainty that it's safe to act. The reality of that happening, right? Regularly, as regularly as we need to take action, is not true, right? It's not possible these days. And so what we see is time and time again, confidence being a block. I don't have the confidence, therefore I don't take the action. It keeps us stuck. It keeps us small. Of course, it keeps it safe. But ultimately, in today's world, it's just not a sustainable way to operate.
I think what we've seen time and time again, and this is a core tenet of the work, is that the act of confidence comes before the feeling of confidence, which feels really paradoxical. It feels difficult. It feels tricky. But what we've seen time and time again, and we encourage people to do this through the small acts of confidence, is to take a step, to take action, to give something a go, and to learn from that because it's in the doing, in the actual taking of the action that we start to resource ourselves. And as we experience it as that taking action, even when we're in a moment of uncertainty, we're not quite sure, we haven't all the ducks aren't lined up, all the rules aren't being followed, all the preparedness isn't there. We start to experience something new. And it's that new experience that opens up to us a different version for our brain of what confidence is.
Yeah, I think taking action when we don't have 100% certainty, that's a new belief, right? That's a new benchmark. What reveals itself, and we call this the feedback loop, is when we take imperfect action, uh, when we reframe our expectations of what's required in order for us to take action, on the other side of that action, there is a little bit more information, right? That piece of action was a good thing to do, or it wasn't a great thing to do. And of course, when we're taking lots of imperfect action, there will be things that won't go perfectly. There will be things that didn't go well. Of course, we're going to learn from that. But when we take that imperfect action on the other side, we have more information, more certainty about what that next action step is. And when we cycle through this feedback loop again and again and again, we move towards our goals in a far more efficient and effective way as we learn.
Yeah, I think the big piece here is to start to figure out what the cost is of not taking the action. This is often the thing that will give us the impetus, give us the go signal and allow us to do something. Because when we're waiting until all the conditions are met, it's just too long. We're silent too long. We're not speaking up for what we want. We're not asking. We're not contributing. And that costs us time. It costs energy. It costs money. And lots of opportunities are missed. And when we always hear about people wishing they'd said something earlier, wishing they'd asked for something, wishing they had, and they thought that they had to meet a whole lot of conditions to do it. And so just taking these small, sometimes imperfect action gives us a new experience that starts to rewire our brains.
So I ask for you is to start to pay attention to, what is it that needs to be present for you to feel confident, to unpack or just build some awareness around your relationship between confidence and taking action, and just to start to experiment a little bit. Stop waiting for that to feel that 10, 12, 15 out of 10 confidence. Start thinking about what would it take for me to take an action step when I had that 7 or 8 out of 10 confidence. And importantly, start to dig into what's the cost of not taking action because I'm waiting to feel confident. Team, we're going to wrap it there. If you've enjoyed today's confidence conversation, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love for you to share that with people in your world, colleagues, friends, family members who you think would benefit from today's confidence conversation. If you want to find out more, head over to our Facebook page. Years worth of going live every Wednesday, talking about lots of different things if you want to go a little bit deeper. And of course, if you'd like to find out more about working with us to dig into your relationship with confidence, visit our website, coreconfidence.com.au.